It seemed like it was tight for a while, but then in the end, it really didn't seem like there were many surprises. Kind of worked out as many people had anticipated.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. I mean, you went for a little bit of a ride tonight in terms of the early returns, and then it remained really close for an extended period of time. But in the end, it looks like the results are going to line up pretty close with the polls, which had Toomey up by a few points. Maybe our last poll had him a tracking poll at 4 points, and it looks like it's about a 2-point margin right now. So it held to form, although there's a lot of emotion, and I guess right up to the last moments now in terms of this race. Nothing was easy about this particular race for the Senate, and hard fought, and it deserved all the attention that it got both in Pennsylvania and around the country.
And some of the backstage drama is going on even as we speak, I guess. As we hear the two sides jockeying, one has not conceded, one has not proclaimed victory. We just have to wait this out a little bit. So I'm not sure how long you're prepared to stay, if you brought a knapsack or something, but
it's comfortable.
We're glad you're comfortable. A question about, again, what this says about the electorate. I'm fascinated by this. We talked about this a little bit before, but it's another interesting quote. A Wall Street Journal's article today said that we haven't seen this since the 50s, that is, the ousting of a substantial number of House lawmakers for the third election in a row. And that the writer raised the question, how can the country solve its long-term problems when voters seem so uncertain about which party they would like to do this? What does this say about where the electorate is?
It's a really interesting argument, Rob. And when you look at the ability to instill any long-lasting policies, you do need some stability in the legislative branch. And right now we are seeing these quick turnovers, and it's going to be hard for any single party to be able to put a clear plan into play. You know, the Democrats did have 2 years, and one could argue they were able to pass a lot of their initiatives, but the public gave a large rebuke to those policies tonight. So you wonder what kind of message it sends. You know, Republicans will clearly take that it means a different path from what we saw come out of the Obama administration, and the Democrats, but exactly what that path isn't necessarily clear. And so it's going to be interesting to see how two parties divided in so clear ways are able to work with each other in this particular political environment. That's going to be a great challenge. And the problems remain. You know, healthcare problems remain, economic problems remain, and the ability of any party that has been so polarized from the other party now to make those inroads to come up with compromise will really be a challenge.
I wonder if, is it accurate to say, do you think, some people have said that when you see candidates like Joe Sestak and Pat Toomey, that this sort of is emblematic of the disappearance of moderates? Is that too strong? After all, both of these guys tried to portray themselves as centrists, in fact.
Yeah, I don't think either of these gentlemen are the demon, if you will, that the others portrayed them as. I don't think Pat Toomey is so far to the right that he's completely out of the mainstream, or that Joe Sestak was so far to the left. Now, in a campaign, both sides wanted to make that image really clear. They're clearly ideologically left and right of center. There's no doubt about that. But I think they're both reasonable individuals. I think both of them have the potential to make that road. Remember, you know, often it's the most conservative or the most liberal that has the, I guess, the established ability to make that move to the middle. And maybe Pat Toomey be just the type of person to come up with those compromises that can broker some deals in Congress. We'll see what kind of role it'll be. It'll be fascinating to follow now Senator Toomey, or Senator-elect Toomey, as he tries to put together his agenda in Washington.
Just so people understand, if the House is in fact in GOP hands, it's not enough of a margin that some of the biggies that the Republicans have talked about could be done. Suppose, for example, there's an effort to repeal the health care law. It's not going to work as long as you have the Democratic president, right? And the margin that the Republicans will have in the House.
No, absolutely right. If voters, when they sent Republicans into control of the House, expected to see a complete reversal of the health care, they're probably going to be disappointed, because, of course, President Obama, for at least the next 2 years, will be in the White House, and it'll take 2/3 of both the House and the Senate to be able to make a veto-proof majority to be able to really overturn the major provisions of the health care. So it's going to put both parties in this situation where they're going to have to look for some type of measure of coming together. No party's going to be able to run roughshod over the other right now. And that might be not so bad of a thing. Again, I think there's, in some ways, Americans love the idea of gridlock. It sounds funny, but having one party watch the other is always an American tradition. Let's look at it in Pennsylvania with our cycle of Democrats and Republicans controlling the governor's mansion. That's not an accident. That's not just a statistical flaw. It really is something that I think we see the preferences of the public looking for some kind of balance, and they'll get that. They'll get gridlock. They'll see if they like it.
All right, Dr. Borick, thank you so much again for your contributions to our broadcast tonight and giving us some perspective and insights on what's been going on. It's been a very interesting night.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Some of the races we want to recap a little bit now.
That's right. We're going to take a look at the local congressional race right now, the 15th district right now. You look at this race, Charlie Dent going back to Washington, winning it for the Republicans over Callahan. This a hotly contested race, and Dent was able to pull it out in the end. And we are going to take a look now, going to Will Lewis. He was with Callahan at Callahan headquarters. Will?
Bethlehem Mayor John Callahan is here still thanking supporters after he gave his concession speech right around 9:30 this evening. He tells people that, you know what, he ran a good campaign and he thanks them for all of their hard work. He also told them that he knows that there's some tired and discouraged folks in the room, but tomorrow they will get back up, and tomorrow they will start to fight again. I did get a chance to speak with Callahan, and he said it's too soon to say if he will run in 2012. He says right now he wants to sit back and take it all in, and he said but he will start working on making Bethlehem a better place. In Bethlehem, Will Lewis, 69 News.
Very good, Will. Thanks. And now to the other side in that race. The victor tonight is Charlie Dent, and Jaccii Farris was covering the Dent campaign and other Republicans in Hanover Township.
Congressman Charlie Dent says his victory tonight is about getting this country back on track. He says he's going to go back to Washington and put a stop to what he calls job-killing policies. He says he's going to focus on controlling spending and the size of government. He says he's going to try to help enhance freedoms and protect our homeland security. He says that he's hoping that this energy that was created tonight by his victory will not dissipate. He says he's a leader that knows how to listen. He says there's nothing wrong with this community or with America that cannot be changed, and the hard work begins tomorrow. In Bethlehem, Jaccii Farris, 69 News.
All right, thank you, Jaccii. And we continue to take a look at some of the races around the nation now, going to some of the governor's races. Of course, all the races for Congress up for grabs around the nation. A lot of Senate seats. That's right, and we're waiting to hear from our new senator-elect there.
And West Virginia, this Senate race here, Joe Manchin is a Democrat who's going to the Senate as they hang on to a Democratic seat there in West Virginia. A lot of people thought this could be a case where a Republican could capture a Democratic Senate seat, and that this would be a bellwether scenario tonight should Racy have been able to take it. But Manchin, the governor in West Virginia, has captured the Senate seat in West Virginia.
That's right. Moving on to Connecticut, this one. The Democrats, this is one of the seats the Democrats were able to hold here. Blumenthal, the Democrat, winning over Linda McMahon, the Republican, in this race, even though 57% of the precincts reporting at this point, so I guess things could change there, but right now the Democrat is holding that lead.
Right, and to other races that were closely watched nationally, of course, the Senate race in Delaware, one of them. Christine O'Donnell upset Mike Castle in the primary, a Tea Party candidate. She got herself into the race against Coons and, as expected, was not able to pull it out. Coons wins handily, 59% of the vote to 41% for Christine O'Donnell. Other Tea Party candidates did better tonight than she did.
That's right. And here's an example right here with the Republicans with Mark Rubio able to take this Senate seat in Florida. This is another very hotly contested race with 3 candidates. You even have the independent Charlie Crist there, the former governor, going in against this one, with Rubio able to pull it out. And we had talked about him earlier. He's a big up-and-comer in the Republican Party. The Republicans are really liking him, even throwing his name around as a possible vice presidential candidate come 2012 already. So people have a lot of hope for him, and he was able to win without much of a problem in Florida.
In the governor's race there, the Republican takes it. Rick Scott with a win, close one, 51% to 49% over the Democratic candidate Alex Sink in Florida. So the governorship stays in Republican hands in Florida. A number of governorships, including this next one, also were closely watched tonight.
Yeah, that's right. This one for South Carolina. You have Nikki Haley, the Republican, winning here with 95% of the precincts, and pretty safe to say that that one is going in the Republican column as well. Right.
One of the so-called Mama Grizzlies, sometimes lumped together with Sarah Palin and allies in the Republican Party. So the governorship goes to Haley, it looks like, in South Carolina. And other races that we're following tonight include other races that we're following tonight.
One, of course.
And we're going to talk about them soon.
Yes, our own race for senator. We're waiting to hear from Pat Toomey or even Sestak. One of them we're waiting for. So while we do that, we're going to take a break and we'll be back.
You'll always find much, much more at Howarders Furniture in Emmaus. Shop the competitors, then buy from Howarders and save.
All right, we said we were waiting for Pat Toomey, the victorious new senator from Pennsylvania, and he is at the podium now in Fogelsville.
Thank you so much.
To talk to his happy supporters. Let's listen in.
Thank you. So much. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Now, you knew this wasn't going to be easy, right? Gunther, thank you for your support and for your introduction tonight and for being the MC. I appreciate that. The people of Pennsylvania have spoken. Yeah. And they have delivered us a victory. Just a few moments ago, Congressman Sestak called to concede the race. and to convey his congratulations to me. He was very gracious, and I appreciate the call. And I want to congratulate Joe Sestak on a very spirited and very tough and very competitive campaign. He and his supporters really deserve to be commended for the vigorous effort that they put out. I also want to say how much I respect the service that Joe Sestak has given to this country. I respect both the 31 years that he spent in the United States Navy and the 4 years that he spent in the United States House of Representatives. He has served this country well, and he has done so honorably, and I wish him the best of luck in all of his future endeavors. Now, I've got a lot of people that I need to thank tonight, and I can't even begin to go through everybody that I need to thank, but there are some that I just have to mention. People without whom it would be absolutely impossible for me to be here tonight, so I want to mention a few of those. I got to start with the two people who taught me all the important things in life, always encouraged me to pursue my dreams, and made countless trips from Rhode Island to be here in Pennsylvania to help us in any number of ways, and that's my mom and dad, Mary Ann and Joe Toomey. I want to thank my brothers and sisters who've been, we've just been a very, very close family since the very beginning, and I'm so grateful to them for all their help in this campaign, and they're up here on the stage, Marianne and Jody, Mike, Steve, and Lynn. Thank you all very much for all your help and your love and support. I've got 3 young children to recognize. One is sound asleep right now, exactly as he should be. As a 6-month-old, that's exactly what he should be doing. But these 2 you may have seen in some of the commercials. This beautiful little girl is our daughter Bridget, and you know she agrees with me. And the big boy here is Patrick. And the person that I need to thank most of all is the person who makes my whole life possible. And she is the mother of our children. She is the rock that provides me with love and encouragement and support. And that is, of course, my wife, Chris. A huge thank you to really so many people who've supported this campaign in so many ways. We've been at this for 19 months. The people who sent in contributions, do you know there are over 72,000 people contributed to this effort? And so many came in envelopes with a check of $10 or $20 and often a little note inscribed. And I'm enormously grateful to everybody who made that personal sacrifice. The volunteers, tens of thousands of people across the Commonwealth who started so long ago circulating petitions to get my name on the ballot, and then they put up yard signs and made phone calls and went door to door and did all the hard work. I told you we needed all of that effort. But I am very grateful for all of that support. There's one gentleman that I do want to recognize who stepped up and agreed to play a major leadership role in my campaign, and I'm very grateful to him for all of his guidance and support and all the arm twisting he did, and that's Cliff Benson, who's here from Pittsburgh. Cliff, thank you.
And Pat Toomey with his victory speech tonight, and the loser in this race is Democratic Congressman Joe Sestak, who is now speaking to his supporters at the Radnor Hotel in Delaware County.
I just want to thank my staff. Look, I have in the Navy commanded a number of ships and staffs, and I have to tell my staff this. And I'm going to mention first my campaign staff, but under Bill Walsh, and yep, in my district office, and also in my Washington office under Bibby. But tonight, to my campaign staff, I have never had a more professional, competent, nor hard-working staff. And whether we're running against the establishment or with the establishment, one that was so humble, in a sense of always remembering how to treat others, particularly those that they wanted to work for, Pennsylvanians. Could I hear a round of applause for my staff? And as you all know, part of that staff, and I have never worked for harder people than my family, Elizabeth, that chief of staff, and my campaign director, Richard, and Margaret, who was my treasurer, and those other 3 sisters that took off time to help one out. I'm sorry, other 4 sisters. 5. And 5, well, I mentioned 2 of them. Still being corrected. Oh, the days to come. Plenty of time. And they were wonderful. You know, in politics, it's always nice when you close the door at night to have somebody who you know is part of you and was part of you. And I can't thank them enough. And the rest of, and my mom, and you know, my pop's up there and his hand's on that tiller. So thank you very much to my family. And my brother. And then I wanted to mention...
All right, and you were hearing from Joe Sestak. They're doing a concession speech losing to Pat Toomey in what turned out to be a very, very tight race.
All right, so that's the remaining headline for the evening that's kind of wrapped up, as Pat Toomey will be the senator-elect. And now we'll wrap up for you the races we've been covering in Congress. The Gerlach race is the 6th district race in Pennsylvania. In the House, Gerlach wins a 5th term over Democratic challenger Manon Trivedi.
Right, I think we're going to go
I'm here at what was Congressman Jim Gerlach's party. Now, he left tonight thanking his supporters, but not giving an acceptance speech because not all the results were in when he left. Now, in Berks County, it looks like he won by 13,000 votes over his opponent, Manon Trivedi. But because his district stretches through Chester County, Montgomery County, and parts of Lehigh counties, we're still waiting on some of those results. Now, 2 years ago, when he won this district, the results didn't come in until about 1 o'clock. So he knew tonight that he wasn't going to wait to hear those results. He just wanted to thank his supporters for coming out. He did say that it looked promising for the Republicans in the House and that he personally was looking forward to going down to Washington to see things change and to get things done. Of course, that when he delivered that line, there was thunderous applause. People in this room were definitely liking what they saw as far as the Republican races across the state and across the country, even though they left tonight not knowing what the results are for this race. So, of course, we'll have much more from Congressman Jim Gerlach in the morning and on this race. Reporting in Chester County, Pam Cunningham, 69 News.
All right. Thank you, Pam. And now we're taking a look at the race for Pennsylvania governor. Another big race tonight. Tom Corbett pulling that one out. Honorado close for a while, but then as expected, Corbett was able to pull ahead.
Yep, about an 8 percentage point margin, and we have our wrap-up reports from our reporters covering this race this evening, both of them out in Pittsburgh, and we'll start with Melissa Fullerton.
Well, the mood here on the south side of Pittsburgh started out in this evening as cautiously optimistic and still ended on a positive note despite Dan Honorado losing his bid for the governor's seat. He took the stage tonight, and the first thing he told his supporters here was that he called Tom Corbett and congratulated him on his win. Initially, supporters here booed that, but Dan Honorado stopped them and said this is your governor now and that he plans to support him, and he asked his supporters here tonight to support Tom Corbett as well. He said that this was a good race, but they came up short. He said he felt like he still got his message out, and that's what he wanted to do. He said it was a spirited debate. Afterwards, some people had asked him if he felt like some of the negative ads against him were unfair. He said he's not going to comment on that. The race is over, and he's going forward on a positive note. He also said he's going back to his job as county executive here in Allegheny County, a job he's held for 7 years, and when he announced that this evening, it was met with cheers from his supporters. Afterwards, Mr. Honorado spent at least an hour, if not more, working the room, shaking hands, hugging people. He said it was very important for him to thank people individually. So he will go back to his job as the Allegheny County executive. Another Pittsburgher, Tom Corbett, will, of course, go to Harrisburg. That is a wrap-up of the night here on the south side of Pittsburgh. I'm Melissa Fullerton for 69 News.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill.
Surprise that Republican Tom Corbett was elected governor. And for the past 50 years, the people of Pennsylvania have elected the governor opposite of the incumbent's party every 8 years. Corbett says his first order of business in the governor's mansion is to tackle the budget. He says he wants to cut spending and trim waste. He says reductions in Medicaid errors can save the state over $1 billion a year. He also says he wants to create an economic climate that will lead to job growth here in Pennsylvania. But first things first, he said tonight is about a celebration. It's time to relax and party and enjoy being the governor of Pennsylvania. In Pittsburgh, Koltnow, 69 News.
All right, Bo, thanks for that. And so that's it for the governor's race. And then to the big Senate race, we've heard just a moments ago from both Sestak and Toomey. Pat Toomey wins this very close race, 51% to 49% is your final or almost final margin there in the Senate race. We have wrap-up reports in that one, starting with Joscelyn Moes, who is in Delaware County. She's been covering the Sestak campaign tonight. Joscelyn?
Hi, Hi, guys. This was a bit of an emotional roller coaster here at the Radnor Hotel tonight. There was a thought in the beginning with the early returns that Sestak might pull it off, but in the end, Toomey is the winner. This was a hard-fought race. Sestak just wrapped up his concession speech a short time ago. In the end, he thanked Toomey. He thanked his staff, supporters, and volunteers for all of their hard work. But again, Toomey declared the winner here tonight. Sestak supporters sticking it out to watch Sestak speak here, and they cheered him on loudly as he gave his concession speech. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right. Thanks, Joscelyn Moes.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to head over to Jonder now, who's wrapping things up from the Holiday Inn in Fogelsville. He was with the Pat Toomey campaign tonight. John? Okay,
well, sorry, John.
Yes.
A little difficulty with John's wrap-up report. But you could tell from the sound that they were having a very good time there in Fogelsville.
No doubt.
Pat Toomey has won tonight. We're gonna be done with John, are we then? All right. we're just gonna say good night. It's been a long night and quite a shift of power.
Yes.
That we've seen at both the state and U.S. levels tonight.
That's
Republicans now. Question is, what will they do with that power? And we'll be covering that, of course, starting with newscasts tomorrow morning.
That's right. You tune in. 69 News at sunrise tomorrow morning. We'll have all the latest numbers for you. And that's going to do it for us.
Have a great night.
Good night.